Hello, and welcome to Career Chats, a podcast brought to you by the Career and Transfer Center at Citrus College. I'm Natalie, one of the career counselors, and today's topic is quiet quitting. When I first heard the term, I assumed it meant that people were leaving their jobs without telling anyone, their supervisor, their coworkers, essentially ghosting their job or their employer. That's not what it means. The basic definition is that people who say they are quiet quitting are doing their jobs, they're doing their jobs competently and well, but they're not doing anything outside of their job description. They're not working 10, 20 extra hours a week. They're not doing things that they don't feel they're being compensated for. Kind of like putting in that blood, sweat, and tears into their job. And the reason why I believe this became such a hot topic in 2022, because it is not a new concept. Certainly people have had versions of this throughout different decades and whatnot. But the reason it became so talked about, because if you Google quiet quitting, you'll see many articles about it, is because it came out of the pandemic. The pandemic forced a lot of people to really take stock of a lot of aspects of their lives, including their career and their job. People were questioning if they were happy in their job, their career path, and were they happy with their current employer and how they were being treated. Another piece of the pandemic in terms of employment trend was what people were calling the Great Resignation. People were quitting their jobs in really high numbers and for a variety of reasons. They had that time to realize they wanted to make a change for themselves. They didn't like how they were being treated by their employer. And of course, working conditions, right? The pandemic really turned a lot of people's jobs on their heads, changed a lot of aspects of it, and again, allowed people to just take a minute and reevaluate that. And so what both of these ideas really boil down to for a lot of people are values. And values aren't always things that people consider when they're thinking about their career path or in terms of a college student, their major. People often focus on, employment trends and salary and things of that nature, and those are important things. But values become really important in times like we found ourselves in 2020 and 2021 and even now. And so I think that that's the value of this trend of quiet quitting, is that it is causing people to think about what they want out of their job and really how much of their life are they dedicating to their employer at the expense of other things, including maybe their own career growth or just how they spend their time outside of work. And so as career counselors, when we talk with students about finding that career path, making that decision, considering different employers, values is an important part of that discussion. We have a lot of resources to help you with that if that's something that you wanted to talk more about. So I think it's a good concept to think about for both employers and how they are, how their employee welfare is, if their employees are happy, what kind of time different employees are putting in. And I also think it's a really important time for people to take stock of their own values in their career. So I think it was a really interesting hot topic and trend that came about. And again, there's lots of aspects to it. There's a lot of different takes on it. But I do think the bottom line is values. And I think that when you can consider those things and examine them and connect them to your work, there's that overarching theme that can lead you to finding that career path that makes you happy and fulfilled. So I wanted to thank you for joining us today on Career Chats. There will be links to some articles about quiet quitting, if you'd like to read more about it. And if you're curious to learn a little bit more about work values and what that means, then please come and see us in the Career Transfer Center. You can find all our contact info on the Citrus College website. Thank you.